Get ready for the revolution. It's coming to you now. It's coming to you now. Rising up, now the tide's turning. Feel the heat, yeah, the fire's burning. No hesitation, our generation leads us onward.
Che sia amante sia dato per la sua grazia una consolazione eterna e una buona speranza per and learn how to face them.
I see the need to organize this training course with this topic, Prejudice, because I think it is very crucial and important to have a specific focus on this theme, how to face with the interreligious prejudice, because people sometimes have to face with this kind of prejudice in their daily life, and it is hard to deal with them. So it was very important to have a focus on this theme, and also to getting to know how to deal with these prejudices. How can we overcome this prejudice in our daily life? And also because social media always give a negative focus on different interfaith traditions, and they transmit negative messages about the differences in the interfaith traditions, and it's not fair, it's not true, it's not the truth, because there are some people who act in some ways and other people who act in other ways. So we have to underline that there is something positive in being different and in the differences, and we have to celebrate it.
You know, onions have a very hard job. Nobody likes them. And they have more in common with people than people usually think. Onions have layers, and so have human beings. And so I thought it would be a very good opportunity to present it to the participants. Yeah, there is the first layer of human beings, which you can transfer to onions, and it's all about the appearance. It's about what you can see, what you can hear about another person, the feeling when you meet another person for the first time. It's very important. It goes deeper and deeper, and the core of it's the values which make the human being. And the core of an identity is also the religion. And the aim of this training course was to discover the religion and discover like the cores of the participants.
What we agreed probably is first time when you meet a person, you look at dress.
Yeah. And you don't know the name or the language before the person speaks actually. So the first thing that you see is only the dress.
We agree only on the first step because
We're so different.
we put name, dress and language, and after that we change everything. For example, in the second step I put music, habits, work and school. And you?
I put friends and culture.
Absolutely, we agreed on is that the core of the onion is composed by values and faith.
And the more you go into it, the more they shape your identity. For example, where we agreed on, like Angie, your group, is that the values and the faith are in the core, and that they shape our identity and kind of like influence all the other aspects of it and what we show about our identity.
Today I'd like to share something on inclusion, but I would like us to look at it maybe slightly in a different way.
Prejudice doesn't allow you to getting to know people in a more deeper way, but it's just a superficial point of view, because, for example, the one thing that came up into my mind right now, sorry, but if I think, okay, you are a Muslim, maybe the first thing that we say is something negative at first, because that person is Muslim, so you start to think in the negative way at the beginning, not in the positive way. And I would like to investigate how to overcome this stereotype, yes, as well. So for me, this means cut the prejudice, to show the real value of the human being, so the person.
I see it in daily life. For example, I have friends who like travel and so on, and I will say that I go to Israel, and they're like, "Oh, come on, you like Jewish people?" So it's like, you know, in daily life, I don't even know how to communicate with my friends on such hot topics, and it's actually like communities against gay marriages, and I don't see that there are any movement who want to cut prejudice actually. So I see that we have stereotypes in country, but nothing is working against it.
So normally if you say you're a Christian, or if they say it's a process, normally you don't understand what is around my head, and say already believe I am crazy. And when I said that I am dealing with Muslims and I have quite many Muslim friends in the next journey, they probably believe I'm totally insane. And it's somehow very hard to explain for the people. Even my church believes something like that. And if I go to the lectures and I normally start to speak about it, it's not something like people smiling. It officially starts fights sometimes. They start to ask me different questions, sometimes about refugees. And normally they believe I am this one for coming from the government to change their mind, and I need to be very polite to tell them about that Muslims, that they are very good persons, and before you make any decisions about them, you need to find some person who are Muslims and just try to speak with this person, and then you understand this person is totally okay. And this one, what's coming from media, is totally another story.
As you know, Italy for many years has been a poor country. People emigrate everywhere because they had the job, and especially in Germany, Belgium, United States, they were subject to prejudice. But now that Italy has become richer than in the past, we stop emigrate, but we receive refugees and migrants, as a nonsense, we start having prejudice towards them. So we have to remember what we were in the past and to start thinking about other people, especially because we were subject to prejudice in the past, and we don't have to be contrary to other people who are coming now in our land.
The most effective way to face prejudice or to reduce prejudice is to have contact to people. It's very simple, but it's very effective. So, like you said, for me it means to bring people together and to get to know each other and the real nature about the religion. And so there are like two simple tools: contact and knowledge. And I'm very happy to be here and to practice that with you.
The main thing what is first, before I hear it, that we go to visit Protestant monk. I am Orthodox, so I know the Orthodox as monks and Catholics as monks, but never heard nothing about Protestant monks. So first I want to see how the Protestant monks looks like. And when he got this idea that we can walk around the church, we are looking in vitrines and we look the painting, what is most really touch us, and we put the candle and we can read the prayer. I think it was a very touchful time, and of course I have option to read prayer in Estonian language and Orthodox prayer, and I think it was somehow quite powerful time for all of us.
So different from every nation.
I felt pride because he's part of my church. Somehow I was just very proud to present that to the other participants.
Let us begin. Im Namen des Vaters und des Sohnes und des Heiligen Geistes. Amen.
Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Jesus said unto him, So shalt love the Lord thy God with all.
Dies ist das höchste und größte Gebot. Das andere aber ist dem gleich. Du sollst deinen Nächsten lieben wie dich selbst.
Lob ihn, o Seele, vereint mit den himmlischen Chören.
Joining in glad adoration.
Actually, to be honest, it was my really first time in a mosque, because in Estonia we don't have that many Muslims, and it was really interesting to hear what they're doing, that they're doing also this youth work and this interreligious things, playing football with Christians and other religion representatives, and I think they're doing a great job to help growing Muslim youth as a persons.
I think when I get to know more about every religion, it opens up my mind in a way that I can experience more people, more religion, and I can celebrate it also. So I found it beautiful in a way to get to know them more.
I've never been to a mosque, and I was afraid to go there because I have few Muslim friends, and I didn't know that women and men can pray at the same place, and actually it was really interesting dialogue, and I saw that this young guy, they tried to work on this issue, like cut the prejudice by themselves. They organize different events, so now I'm looking forward to visiting the one in Moscow.
I myself, I enjoyed the most the visit in the mosque. It was for a very, very long time a dream of mine to get closer contact to Muslims and like to really have an honest, serious conversation where nobody judges anybody but just is honest. And so it worked totally out. I really enjoyed it.
It amazed me that I found out that there are a lot of similarities between the Jewish faith and Islam, and a lot of his beautiful words touched me, and yeah, I found myself in the situation of a pupil, like I want to learn more, and now I'm very motivated to learn more about other faith traditions and thus to understand my own faith tradition better.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
The presentation of the different religions allow me to know deeply different religions like Islam or the Lutheran Church or also the Orthodox Church that I knew before come to the training course, but it was the first time for me hearing a presentation by believers of this tradition. It was very, very interesting have this inside look of the religion.
Che non ci fosse divisione nel corpo, ma le membra avessero la medesima cura.
Well, for me, interreligious dialogue is a really crucial factor in order to bring people together, and I mean that dialogue is the best answer to prevent war, conflicts, and other violent actions. So for me, dialogue is one of the most crucial factors that will prevent different problems in this world.
I think we have to think about it and prepare in case it will be active in our lives.
To have interreligious dialogue today is mainly important, for keeping peaceful coexistence of different people within one single society. And society of today's Europe, of today's world, is turning to be a globalized society. When people are meeting, people are moving, and this process of globalization of society, it probably comes much more faster, much more quick than humans' perception of society can be developed. And that is why it is important to have interreligious dialogue today because if it would be tomorrow, we could face problems already today. Mainly because we need to keep a peaceful coexistence.
We can do much better things together than fighting each other and disagreeing with each other. So I think it means to me just coming together, finding ways to work together and becoming stronger against and solve social problems, solve maybe political problems and not argue and disagree.
We have a lot of stereotypes on Asian and Russian and Black, Muslim, Jewish. So we need to work on this problem and try to solve it and spread the message that everyone is the same and we have a lot in common, not in different.
Yeah, people are afraid to talk to each other, and often, just a good conversation can change your whole life and can. Beautiful friendships can develop, and I think the world would be way more peaceful if we would talk more to each other.
So we need to eliminate this rise of this phenomenon, and we need to help people to face with this new reality without prejudices.
Just people, and there are idiots in every group, and there are beautiful people in every group, and there are all kinds of people everywhere. So people, just people.
Get ready for the revolution. It's coming to you now. It's coming to you now. We're gonna sing a revolution. And they'll never bring us down. No, they'll never bring us down.
I learned that the Jewish people are not a closed community. They accept other positions, they want to dialogue with other religions, and they are very open-minded. As I can say, as my final words, is that you have to know people before judging them, and because it is very easy to misunderstand society today. So you have, before judging other people, you have to understand them. That's all.
Hello, I'm Anna Paola. I'm 22 years old. I live in Turin, where I'm a university student, and I'm going to talk about a random conversation that I had with a colleague of mine. I went to the library and I met him, and we started talking about religions. And suddenly he told me that his family is Catholic, but he is an atheist. So I answered him that I'm Valdesian, and I suddenly started to explain who are the Valdesian. And to simplify, I explained to him that it is a Protestant church, and he answered me surprised, "Oh, I got it like Twilight once."
They are refugees. They are mostly from the Middle East. People say they do not belong here because the Middle East is so different from our European values. But wasn't Jesus from the Middle East as well? When Jesus was born, an angel appeared to Joseph, and he was told to run with his family and to hide in Egypt. Jesus becomes at once a refugee, on the run for his life. What role do you want to play? Act now before it's too late, and cut the prejudice.
Hello guys, I would like to tell you quite instructive story about the prejudice. So the story is about a man who was lost outside of the city and he found a road to the city. It was already dark and cold, it was night, and the way to the city was more than 50 kilometers, and the road was not busy, not many cars were passing on this road. And he have started to hitchhiking the cars, and nobody have stopped for a long time. But finally, after some hours, one car have stopped, and the driver was so kind to agree to take him to the city. And as they were two in a car, they have started to chat, to speak with each other. They have spoken about weather, about society, about government, about politics, about economy. Also, in this country there was a strange law for those people who even don't have a job, who are unemployed. They were supposed to pay social taxes, even if they don't have job. So it was a strange country. There were many unemployed in this country. As the car was approaching to the city, a man recognized through the window of the car, he recognized a huge building was under the construction. It was a church, and he started to claim that priests, that clerics are not good in this country because they are not contributing to the development of the society. They are doing nothing. They just collect money and donations from probably from mafia as well. And driver have not responded nothing to him. But in few minutes they have arrived, and driver told to the man that he is a deacon, he is working in the same church which is under the construction, which they have just passed. So of course the man was sorry for this, but this story tells about not to judge too much before not profoundly reflecting on what you are saying, before profoundly reflecting on the situation. And there is a common statement: not judge a book just on the cover it has. So that is story.
Before coming to Germany, I was warned by my family that it's too dangerous to go to Germany, that there are refugees everywhere and that I should be careful and I shouldn't walk by myself at night. When I got lost in the underground, I asked a really nice, open-minded, shiny boy for help. I asked him whether he could help me. He said yes, of course, and he was really helpful. He asked me where I came from, and I told him that I came from Russia, and I started a little bit complaining about my job. I decided to ask him where did he came from, because he had perfect English, he spoke German, and I really thought that he's from Israel and maybe he's studying in the university in Germany. And his reply was that he is a Syrian and he lives in a refugee camp. And I was shocked, so we should think twice whether we know the truth and whether we know who these people are and what they dream of and what their life is about.
What do you see when you see me? Do you think I'm oppressed? Poor? Uneducated? Would you talk to me to ask me for the way if you're lost on the street? Or are you afraid? Afraid to find out that maybe I'm not the way you think I am. Sometimes I'm afraid too. I watch TV and see the world on fire. Unemployment rates get higher and the voices get louder. Voices shouting, "It's my fault. It's my fault that you had a bad day, that politicians fail and that people starve and kill each other." But what if I tell you that I often feel overwhelmed too? That my favorite food is Italian and sometimes I drink too much coffee? What if I tell you that it hurts? It hurts when you don't smile back, that you avoid eye contact when I come closer to you. It hurts to justify myself for being me. What if I tell you I'm human like you? What do you see when you see me? Let me buy you a coffee, maybe you'll see differently.
I'm dreaming about to finish up my education.
I'm dreaming about having a job which can let me travel around the world.
I'm dreaming about to become a filmmaker.
I'm dreaming about changing the world and making a difference.
I'm dreaming about finding a job for an NGO about human rights.
I'm dreaming about being a youth leader in my church.
I'm dreaming about creating a social cafe for people to come together, share with each other and get to know each other's lives.
I'm dreaming about being a pastor in the Valdensian church.
I'm dreaming about democratical society in my country and economical justice.
I'm dreaming about becoming a psychologist to help people to cope with their daily lives and thus make the world a better place.
I'm dreaming about finding a job which will be useful for society.
I am dreaming about to become a politician in order to improve the well-being of my fellow citizens.
I'm dreaming about to have a travel company to make trips to the countries where I really love to show people different religions and traditions.
I'm dreaming about building up my own old people's home. Usually, people go there for dying, but I want them to celebrate this last part of the journey, which is called life.